Has there ever been a time when you were in a group and you felt ignored, or seems no one is seeing you or hearing you? Or it could be the other way around, that you're in a group and there's one person there you somehow find different and does not fit in. There's a story I read written by Dr. Seuss entitled Horton Hears a Who that I found particularly interesting. Let me introduce the main characters. First, there are the Whos. They are microscopic creatures who live in a small speck of dust called Whoville. Next is Horton. He's a kind elephant who heard the Whos and decides to protect them from harm. And lastly, are the animals living in the jungle of Nu. They do not believe that the Whos exist and even becomes a threat to the Whos. Now, why do I like the story? You see, I think I can relate to the Whos. As someone living with autism, my condition sometimes makes me think, act, and speak differently. I have symptoms that sometimes makes me move differently that I'm often misunderstood. Other kids might find me weird or odd. I often feel left out, ignored, or excluded from play and other activities. There were countless times during player breaks when, probably just because I could not seem to catch on in the conversations, that kids don't seem interested to talk to me, or I don't seem like I could carry on a conversation with them. For some time, I could not understand why. It gets really sad and lonely and confusing. As I found out, I'm not alone. According to some studies published in 2000 by Bauminger and Casarsi and in 2019 by Yu Cheng et al., says that autistic children tend to be lonelier than their neurotypical peers, and this loneliness may contribute significantly to the high incidence of depression and anxiety among autistic adults. It may be because our condition is also known for having difficulty socializing. And I know this from my own experience. It is hard to make friends or to fit in. Just as I'm a Who, I wish there are more Hortons to my rescue. A friend who is intensely kind. Someone who would extend kindness even though I may or may not return it. Who looks past their differences and sees us as people too with similar emotional needs. As what Horton keeps saying, a person's a person, no matter how small. However, my experience of being ignored or left out does not mean that I'm always being surrounded by mean people. Just like the animals living in the jungle of Nu, they don't really ignore them, it's just that they don't see them or know they exist. Now this is when you can be unkind without realizing it, that it is possible to hurt someone without doing anything. And so I think we need more awareness that in this world we are all different, some with more obvious differences than others. But like in the story of Horton Hears a Who, once convinced that Whos exist, the animals vow to be a part of the ones who would protect the Whos. To be intensely kind is not without its benefits. A recent study published in 2019 by Lee Rowland and Oliver Scottery showed that performing acts of kindness boosts happiness and general well-being of that person. So the gift of kindness you give goes back to you. Imagine happy kids growing up to be happy adults. There are so many benefits of happiness to the person and to our surroundings. Happiness creates a ripple effect that propagates and multiplies. Aside and this, I would like to make a request to my fellow kids. If you notice someone in your group who is being left out or is quiet or is different, be intentional and be friendly. Include us in your group. Try to have conversation with us. If I need more patience from you, but please be kind still. Who knows, and you might be surprised. We may think and act differently, but we have great stories to tell too. This simple act of intentional kindness would mean the world to us. I know it will for me. To the parents, please teach your kids to be more inclusive of others, that every person, including his or herself, has value and has worth. Everyone is different and unique. This is how God made us. But while we're all different, we all have common needs. One of it is kindness. We need to have awareness of our diversities and to be intensely kind, because kindness matters. Thank you.